All right. What up, what up, what up? We're going to continue our Bible study. We are on Genesis chapter 9. But before we continue that, I'd like to say a quick prayer. I was thinking I haven't said prayer before we start reading. And the reason is I pray in the morning, I pray at night, and I'm also kind of consistently praying throughout the day. And it's a very private thing for me. But I figured, you know what, today would be a good day to just share this prayer. So I'm going to just close my eyes and pray real quick. Dear Lord, we'd like to come before you today, and we'd like to take this opportunity to read the Bible, to read the living word, what you have given us, and to be able to not only share with others and reflect together, but be able to learn and understand and hopefully hear your voice through all of this. That is ultimately the purpose. We pray that this message not only touches the people who will hop on right now and be able to join with us, but also those who will maybe watch later on, and that your word gets out to them, and that you use this time that we're separating as a vessel to be able to reach others, and that you bless them. I pray this all in your name, in your son's name, Jesus Christ. Amen. All right. So here we go. We are on Genesis number 9. I have my Bible open always. And I've been kind of hopping back and forth between playing games and reading. Ultimately, I want to use the channel for more than just playing games, although I do love playing games. I just want to share that. All right. And God blessed Noah and his sons and said unto them, be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth. And the fear of you and the dread of you shall be upon every beast of the earth, and upon every fowl of the air, upon all that moveth upon the earth, and upon all the fishes of the sea. Into your hand are they delivered. Right, so real quick, God's letting them know that they're going to have dominion over everything that moves upon earth. All right, every moving thing that liveth shall be meat for you, even as the green herb I have given you all things. But flesh with the life thereof, which is the blood thereof, shall you not eat. And surely your blood of your lives will I require. At the end of every beast will I require it. And at the hand of man, and at the hand of every man's brother will I require the life of man. Whoso sheddeth man's blood, by man shall his blood be shed. For in the image of God made he man. And you be ye fruitful and multiply, bring forth abundantly in the earth and multiply therein. Right? So like, I'm assuming that this right here is kind of explaining like, you know, don't shed anybody's blood, because if you do, you're going to pay for it, right? This is the old law, and this is very important. It states right here, like, don't do evil, right? Don't shed nobody's blood, because your blood will be shed, right? Like, there's a give and take to everything, and everything that you do in life, there's a consequence for. Whether you pay for it right now or you pay for it later, you will pay for it, right? Like everybody's going somewhere, and the first place is either the dirt or you'll become ashes. So in the end of the day, wherever you go in life, like, do right, and that's kind of like what this is saying, right? All right. Let's go to the rainbow, right? And God spake unto Noah and to his sons with him, saying, and I, behold, I establish my covenant with you and with your seed after you, and with every living creature that is with you, of the fowl of the cattle, and of every beast of the earth with you, from all that go out of the ark to every beast of the earth. And I will establish my covenant with you. Neither shall all flesh be cut off any more by the waters of the flood, neither shall there be any more be a flood to destroy the earth. Now this is beautiful, right? Because he's letting Noah know that he's making a covenant with him. He saved him. He spared him from all of that, like, chaos that came with the flood and everybody drowning. He's letting them know, I'm going to establish a covenant with you. I will no longer destroy the earth by water or by earth, right? And God said, this is the token of the covenant which I make between me and you and every living creature that is with you for perpetual generations. I do set my bow in the clouds, and it shall be for my token of a covenant between me and the earth. Now, this is what's kind of crazy about the rainbow being misused, And I don't want to disrespect nobody, but in the end of the day, this is what it says, right? The rainbow being misused. The rainbow itself is a promise of God that he will not destroy the earth again with water or earth. And it's very important. You know what I mean? So specifically in this month where everything's being distorted and people are misrepresenting and misusing the rainbow, it's here. That shows you what this is for. This is about God not destroying the earth after he destroyed it for its sin, for how sinful all those people were. Okay, so don't let it get it twisted. You know what I mean? Okay. And it shall come to pass when I bring a cloud over the earth that the bow shall be seen in the cloud. And I will remember my covenant, which is between me and you and every living creature of the flesh. And the bow shall be in the cloud, and I will look upon it, that I may remember the everlasting covenant between God and every living creature of the flesh that is upon the earth. So it's beautiful to know that not only will we see the rainbow, right, and we'll understand that it was so that God does not destroy the earth with water or earth, but it also means that he's looking upon it to remember the promise that he made to us. That specific wording is very, very important, right? Like right here. And I will remember my covenant, which is between me and you and every living creature of the flesh and of the waters, and the water shall no more become a flood to destroy all flesh. But he says it right here. Look at that. And it shall come to pass when I bring a cloud over the earth that the bow shall be seen in the cloud, right? So that from 14 all the way to 16 is so important because God remembers and he reminds himself of that covenant. All right. And the bow shall be in the clouds, and I will look upon it, that I may remember the everlasting covenant between God and every living creature of the flesh that is upon the earth. And God said unto Noah, this is a token of the covenant which I have established between me and all the flesh that is upon the earth. And the sons of Noah that went forth of the ark were Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And Ham is the father of Canaan. These are the three sons of Noah, and of them was the whole earth overspread. So it's cool. Now we know that God made his covenant with Noah, and now again, God is telling them and every single beast to go upon the earth and be fruitful. Again, that's important to highlight. I know we've highlighted in the previous study where it was like one of your purposes is to be fruitful. Okay. And Noah began to be a husbandman. All right, let's look at what husbandman means in biblical text. Okay, he's a farmer or a cultivator of the land. Okay. Excuse me 1 second. All right, and Noah began to be a husbandman, and he planted a vineyard, and he drank of the wine and was drunken, and he was uncovered within his tent. And Ham, the father of Canaan, saw the nakedness of his father and told his two brethren without. And Shem and Japheth took a garment and laid it upon both their shoulders and went backwards and covered the nakedness of their father, and their faces were backwards, and they saw not their father's nakedness. And Noah awoke from his wine and knew what his younger son had done unto him, and he said, all right, now I recently did a study with a few of my friends where while we were reading it, we were trying to figure this out. So I called a pastor who I respect very much, and he explained that when they say saw in the nakedness, and I want to goes and tells his brothers, Ham goes and what he just did, right? No, he took advantage of Noah while he was drunk, which is super uncool, right? And we know this, that like when people are drunk, you don't take advantage of them. It's a wrong thing to do. And there are people in the world who do things like this, right? And so it says he took advantage of his father, and his two sons couldn't even look at the situation, right? So they put garments on their shoulders and they went backwards, right? So then check it out in 24. And Noah awoke from his wine and knew what his younger son had done unto him. And he said, cursed be Canaan, a servant of servants shall he be unto his brethren, and he said, Blessed be the Lord God of Shem, and Canaan shall be his servant. God shall enlarge Japheth, and he shall dwell in the tents of Shem, and Canaan shall be his servant. All right. So the reason this was so important for me to study is because, like, what would cause this man to curse if his son just saw him naked, right? But that's not what that means. And this is why we have to take these studies seriously, and we have to look into what the word means and see how it speaks to us. And then also, look things up, and speak to people who have done these studies for many years. I'm very blessed that as a barber, I have friends who are pastors that I can talk to and I can reach out to on the line whenever I need. And these guys will either explain to me what they've been taught, or try to help me, guide me to continue to further my study, so that God can reveal what he needs to reveal to me. The Holy Spirit can. All right. So then it says, and Noah lived after the flood 350 years, and the days of Noah were 950 years, and he died. All right, so it's interesting that Noah was able to live 950 years when back in the other verse, right, God said that man would only live about 120 years. But he wiped all those guys out, and he gave Noah an exceedingly long life. Okay, Genesis 10. Noah's descendants. These are the generations of the sons of Noah, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, and unto them were sons born after the flood. Forgive me if I mispronounce. These are a mouthful. Okay, the sons of Japheth, Gomer, and Magog, and Madai, and Javan, and Tubal, and Meshech, and Tiras. The sons of Gomer, Ashkenaz, and Riphath, and Togarmah, and the sons of Javan, Elijah, and Tarshish, Kittim, and Dodanim. By these were the isles of the Gentiles divided in their lands, every one after his tongue, after their families, in their nations. So this is the first time we hear the mention of Gentiles, by the way. It's going to be a word that's going to be used in the Bible, especially in the New Testament, quite a bit. And the sons of Ham, right? So the sons of Ham, Cush, and Mizraim, and Phut, and Canaan. And the sons of Cush, Seba, and Havilah, and Sabta, and Ramah, and Sabtachah. And the sons of Ramah, Sheba, and Dedan. And Cush begat Nimrod. He began to be a mighty one in earth. And one of the guys in the study that I'm doing with my friends, they explain, like Nimrod is like a negative now, but back in biblical terms, it meant to be a mighty one on earth, right? So they said that the insults that they were spewing at somebody, because, kids are going to be kids, they really weren't that insulting at all. So that's great. He was a mighty hunter before the Lord. Wherefore it was said, even as Nimrod the mighty hunter before the Lord. And the beginning of his kingdom was Babel, and Erech, and Akkad, and Calneh, and in the land of Shinar, out of the land went forth Asher, and builded Nineveh. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. And the city Rehoboth, and Calah, and Rezin, between Nineveh and Calah, the same is the great city. The Mizraim begat Ludim, and Anamim, and Lehabim, and Naphtuhim, and Path-Rezim, and Calzurhim, out of whom came Philistim, and Captorim. Forgive me if I'm being a little monotone too. I'm really trying not to mispronounce these things. And Canaan begat Sidon, his firstborn, and Heth, and the Jebusite, and the Amorite, and the Girgasite, and the Hivite, and the Archite, and the Sinite, and the Arvarodite, and the Zemarite, and the Hamorite, and afterwards were the families of the Canaanites spread abroad. And the border of the Canaanites was from Sidon, as thou comest to Gerar, unto Gaza. All right, so Gaza is still around. As thou goest unto Sodom and Gomorrah and Admah and Zeboim, even unto Lasha. These are the sons of Ham after their families, after their tongues, in their countries and in their nations. All right, so now we're going to go to the sons of Ham. Okay. Unto Shem, also the father of all the children of Eber, the brother of Japheth, the elder, even to him were children born. The children of Shem, Elam, and Asher, and Arphaxad, and Lud, and Aram. The children of Aram, Uz, and Hol, and Gether, and Mash, and Arphazad begat Salah, and Salah begat Eber. And unto Eber were born two sons. The name of one was Peleg, for in his day was the earth divided, and his brother's name was Joktan. And Joktan begat Almodad, and Seleph, and Hazarmaveth, and Jerah, and Hadaram, and Uzal, and Diklah, and Obal, and Abimel, and Sheba, and Ophir, and Havilah, and Jobab. And all of these were the sons of Joktan. And their dwelling was from Mesha, as thou goest unto Sephar, a mount of the east. These were the sons of Shem, after their families, after their tongues, and in their land, after their nation. These are the families of the sons of Noah, after their generation, in the nations, and by these were the nations divided in the earth after the flood. Right. So I know that that's a lot of lineage, but that lineage is very important to explain so that we understand how, from this one spot, if you're following biblical knowledge and what's being shared here, how from this one spot and after the flood, everybody spread out, right? Genesis 11. And actually, let me change it over here so that I can also make highlights and notes in my Bible. All right. And the whole earth was of one language and of one speech. And it came to pass, as they journeyed from the east, that they found a plain in the land of Shinar, and they dwelt there. And they said to one another, Go to, let us make brick and burn them slowly. And they had brick for stone, and slime had they for mortar. And they said, Go to, let us build a city and a tower whose top may reach unto heaven, and let us make us a name, lest we be scattered abroad upon the face of the whole earth. All right. Now, this is very important, right? Everybody spoke the same language. And that makes sense because everybody came from Noah at this point. Okay? I'm assuming except for the daughters that he took, right? So they all spoke the same language. And so that's important to understand that everybody spoke the same language, right? And then it starts talking about how they started to make brick and mortar. So man's getting even smarter than what they already were now, right? They're starting to use brick and mortar to start to create these cities. You know, I'm assuming before this, they dwelt solely in tents, right? All right. And they said, Go to, let us build a city and a tower whose top may reach unto heaven. All right. So this is where things get a little tricky, right? Now they're trying to reach a level of God. And this is the first time that we reference this. Like at first, God is coming unto them. So it's kind of interesting thought process, right? Like God is lowering himself to be around them when he is God. And he walks with them in the cool of the day, I believe is how they say it, right? And so now man is trying to reach God and things are flipped, right? But God has been always trying to reach us. The whole Bible is literally God trying to reach us. Even though he made us, he's trying to reach us. And when he gives his son for us, right, his son, through his sacrifice, is trying to give us space again, because our sin was so much, to give us space again in heaven. God is literally trying to reach us. That's so important. And right here it says that we decide that we're going to reach heaven. It doesn't say we're going to reach God, we're going to reach heaven, right? So I just want to throw that out there. And the Lord came down to see the city and the tower which the children of men builded, right? Now it's no longer he's saying the children of men. And the Lord said, Behold, the people is one, and they have all one language, and this they begin to do, and now nothing will be restrained from them, which they have imagined to do. Go to, let us again, so important. Let us go down and confound their language, that they may not understand one each other's speech. All right. So, the reason God is confusing their speech, to my understanding, is because now man has begotten to be very smart, and they're trying again to be as God. Right? That's the serpent literally let them know in the Garden of Eden that if they ate of the apple, that their eyes would be opened and they would be as God. Right? And it's a messed up way to say things, right? Because he was being deceiving them, right? But what this says is man is getting smarter, and they're starting to build things, and they're starting to do all of this stuff. And so there's a danger to us trying to become like God. And I'm assuming that is the manipulation of sin coming onto us and being able to kind of put us in a really bad place. Okay. So he's speaking to the Trinity when he says, "Go to, let us go down and confound their language, that they may not understand one another's speech." So the Lord scattered them abroad from thence upon the face of the earth. So now he spreads them all out, which would explain why people are all over the earth, right? And they left off to build the city. Therefore is the name of this called Babel, because the Lord did there confound their language of all the earth, and from thence did the Lord scatter them broad upon the face of the earth. So this is an interesting way, right? Because we want to know how they spread out. Well, it's letting us know right here. Lord scattered them abroad, right? So he changes their languages so they're confused. They don't understand one another, and they can't build this tower. Can't get up there, right? And now he spreads them out all across the earth so that they can't be in oneness, right? Because like a hive mind is a dangerous thing, let's just say. In my opinion, that's what I'm seeing, right? You don't want everybody to think the same. You don't want everybody to do things the same way, because it seems that the heart of man always leads towards sin, and the mind, and right in, I believe, chapter 4, right? And I'll have to go back and check that out. And he was saying that man is consistently lusting pretty much after wickedness. Like his heart is always filled with violence. So let's see. Let's see where. All right. Got it. It's in chapter 5, actually. No, 6. Apologize. Right? And when it came to pass, when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and the daughters were born unto them, that the sons of God saw the daughters of men, that they were fair, and they took them unto wives, of which they chose. And the Lord said, My spirit shall not strive with man, for that he also is flesh, yet his days shall be 120. Right? And it explains that there were giants and all of that stuff. And then in 6:5, it says, And God saw the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of his thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. So it's kind of crazy when you think about it, right? He doesn't want them all to be in togetherness, because as of right now, he sees that most of them are evil. All right. And then literally the flood happens. And one of the first thing that happens is Noah curses his son for doing evil unto him. It doesn't say that God cursed him. It says that Noah curses him. And that's very important to understand. Right. All right. The ancestors of Abraham. These are the generations of Shem. Shem was 100 years old and begat Arphaxad 2 years after the flood, and Shem lived after he begat Arphaxad 500 years and begat sons and daughters. And Arphaxad lived 530 years and begat Salah. And Arphaxad lived after he begat Salah 403 years and begat sons and daughters. And Salah lived 30 years and begat Ebner. And Salah lived after he begat Eber, 403 years and begat sons and daughters. And Eber lived 430 years and begat Peleg. And Eber lived after he begat Peleg 430 years, and begat sons and daughters. And Peleg lived 30 years, and begat Reu. And Peleg after he begat Reu 209 years, and begat sons and daughters. Okay, so we're watching them drop in age, right? And it's very important to understand that we're following the generations of Shem to get to Abraham. So he's one of the brothers, but Shem is the one that the Bible is going to consistently focus on, right? And Reu lived 230 years and begat Serug. And Reu lived after he begat Serug 207 years and begat sons and daughters. And Serug lived 30 years and begat Nahor. And Serug lived after he begat Nahor 200 years and begat sons and daughters. And Nahor lived 920 years and begat Terah. And Nahor lived after he begat Terah 190 years. You see how our age is dropping? Okay. And begat sons and daughters. And Terah lived 70 years and begat Abram. And Nahor and Haran. And these are the generations of Terah. Terah begat Abram, Nahor and Haran begat Lot. And Haran died before his father Terah in the land of his nativity, in Ur of the Chaldees. And Abram and Nahor took them wives, and the name of Abram's wife was Sarai, and the name of Nahor's wife was Milcah, and the father of Iscah. But Sarai was barren, she had no children. And Terah took Abraham his son, and Lot the son of Haran, his son's son, and Sarai his daughter-in-law, and his son Abraham's wife, and they went forth with them from Ur of the Chaldees to go into the land of Canaan. And they came unto Haran and dwelt there. And the days of Terah were 205 years, and Terah died. So 205, and Terah died in Haran. Okay. All right. So now we're getting to Genesis 12, and we're just going to read 12, and then I'm going to stop today just because I have to go to work. But God calls Abram. Right now, the Lord said unto Abram, Get thee out of thy country, and from thy kindred, and from thy father's house, unto a land that I will shew thee. And I will make of thee a great nation, and I will bless thee, and make thy name great, and thou shalt be a blessing. And I will bless them that bless thee, and curse him that curseth thee. And in thee shall all the families of the earth be blessed. Super important. Just highlight that. Because God hasn't spoke in these last few, God hasn't spoke to them. He spoke to himself pretty much, or the Trinity, and explained that he didn't want them to be in their togetherness, right? Right? So Abraham departed as the Lord had spoken unto him, and Lot went with him, and Abraham was 75 years old when he departed out of Haran. So imagine, some people think God's going to speak to them immediately, right? Abraham was 75 when he heard the voice of God. That's important to understand, right? God will speak to you at different times. Okay? And I'm assuming it's when you can have the capacity to understand what he's asking you to do. Now, this is also important, right? So Abraham departed as the Lord had spoken unto him. This is obedience. He heard the voice of God, and he followed the voice of God and did what God asked him to do. Okay? So I just want to highlight that real quick. I'm actually going to highlight that in my Bible as well. Right? It says, okay. All right, perfect. So now it says, And Abraham took Sarai his wife, and Lot his brother's son, and all their substance that they had gathered, and the souls that they had gotten in Haran, and they went forth to go into the land of Canaan. And into the land of Canaan they came. And Abram passed through the land unto a place of Shechem, unto the plain of Moreh, and the Canaanite was then in the land. And the Lord appeared unto Abram and said, Unto thy seed I will give this land. And there builded he an altar unto the Lord who appeared unto him. And he removed from thence unto the mountain on the east of Bethel, and pitched his tent, having Bethel on the west and Hai on the left, on the east. And there he builded an altar unto the Lord, and he called upon the name of the Lord. And Abram journeyed, going on still towards the south. And there was a famine in the land, and Abram went down into Egypt to sojourn there. Let's check what that word is. I'm learning here as well. So sojourn. Let's copy that. All right. And okay, so sojourn refers to a temporary stay or dwelling. Okay. So he went down to Egypt for a temporary stay, right? For the famine was grievous in the land, and it came to pass when he was come near to enter into Egypt, that he said unto Sarai his wife, Behold, now I know that thou art a fair woman to look upon. So he's acknowledging that his wife is beautiful. Therefore it shall come to pass, when the Egyptians shall see thee, that they shall say, This is his wife, and they will kill me, right? So he understands that people are wicked. They're going to see his wife, and they're going to want his wife. Right now, this is where things get a little messy, right? But they will save thee alive. So he's letting her know, like they're gonna hold you down, but they're gonna kill me because they want you, right? Say, I pray thee, thou art my sister, that it may be well with me for thy sake, and for my soul shall live because of thee. Right? So now he's asking his wife to say that she's a sister instead of his wife, which is, in the Bible study that we did, it was a little bit soft for him to do that. But, you know, he goes on to become a great warrior. And this is the first time that war is actually mentioned in the Bible as well. It starts with Abraham. And it came to pass that when Abram was come into Egypt, the Egyptians beheld the woman, that she was very fair. Princes also of the Pharaoh saw her and commended her before Pharaoh, and that the woman was taken into Pharaoh's house. And he entreated Abraham well for her sake. And he had sheep and oxen, and he had asses and men servants and maid servants, and she asses and camels. All right. So this is where like things are wild. Like, so the Egyptian prince is trying to take her as his wife, right? And so he's treating Abraham and he's giving him stuff, right? But Abraham's not letting them know that that's his wife because he's afraid for his life, right? And the Lord plagued Pharaoh and his house with great plagues because of Sarai, Abram's wife. And Pharaoh called Abram and said, What is it that thou hast done unto me? Why didst thou not tell me that she was thy wife? Why saidst thou, She is my sister, so I might have taken her to me to wife? Now therefore, behold thy wife, take her and go away, right? Because to be fair, Pharaoh had no idea because of the deception. So he's being plagued because he's taken another man's wife, which is obviously a sin. And Abram is just trying to save his own skin, which is not cool. Okay. But she's safe. He was right. They probably would have killed him, right? So now he's leaving with all these gifts that he's gotten. And Pharaoh commanded his men concerning him, and they sent him away, and his wife, and all that he had. All right, so we're going to get into chapter 13. And we will continue the study. This is this study was more about like genealogy and understanding where Abram came from and which lineage we're following out of Noah's sons, to be able to continue and further understand how we get to Moses and all of these other peoples, right? And how the Jews end up in Egypt. And by the way, when I say the Jews, that's how it explains them in here. So it's just using the terminology that was spoken back then. No disrespect to anybody. All right. And Abraham, actually, you know what? I would love to. This was interesting. I enjoyed listening and learning. Awesome, Marvin. I appreciate you listening, bro. I really want to make sure that we're hitting all kinds of points and we're trying to understand what's being spoken to us, and then also that I'm not giving you guys my understanding, but we're learning together, and that you guys are communicating with me. And also, if you have any questions, we can take those questions to people who are way smarter than we are when it comes to this. So thanks for listening, man. I appreciate it. And to everybody who's watching or who all this is going to reach in the future, I hope you guys can get something out of this. All right. Take care. Have a wonderful day. I hope you all have a blessed day.